Thanks for joining me. My name is John. I'm an alcoholic, and this is another personal stories from the 1939 first edition of the Alcoholics Anonymous Big Book. The story is entitled A Close Shave by Harry Zollers. The year 1890 witnessed my advent as the youngest of 5 sons to a fine Christian mother and a hard-working blacksmith father. At the age of 8, my father used to send me after his pail of beer, and it was lapping the foam off the beer that I first discovered that taste, which was much to my liking. By the time I was 14, at which time I quit school, I had found that wine and hard cider were also pleasing to my palate. The next 6 years, I spent learning the art of barbering, and by the end of this period, I'd become both a proficient barber and an earnest drinker. During the next 10 or 12 years, I was able to acquire several lucrative shops, some with pool rooms and restaurants attached. It seemed quite impossible ever for me to stand prosperity, so I would drink myself out of one situation and get myself together a bit, develop another, and then repeat the performance. The time came when I could no longer refinance myself, so I began to float about the country, getting a job here and there as I could, but invariably I got fired in a short time because of my unreliability. My marriage, which occurred in 1910, about the time I started my successful ownership of shops, resulted in our having a family of 10 children who were usually desperately in need because I used to solander income for booze and instead of providing for them. I finally secured a job in a shop of a town of about 4,500 people where I now live. A reputation for drinking soon became more or less generally known. About this time, a deacon and the pastor of one of the local churches used to come by the shop for their work and were constantly inviting me to church and Bible classes, which invitations irritated me very much. I earnestly wished they would mind their own business. I finally did accept 1 or 2 invitations to social functions at the home of one of these men and was received so cordially that the barrier between us was partially lowered. I did not stop drinking, however, though my feeling toward these men was kindly. They at least persuaded me to go to a nearby town to have a talk with a doctor who had a great deal of experience with this type of trouble. I listened to this man for 2 hours, and although my mind was quite foggy, I retained a good deal of what he said. I feel that the combined effect of these 3 Christian gentlemen made it possible for me to have a vital spiritual experience. This occurred March 1937. I have had no trouble since. For about 6 years previous to this time, I was never at any time completely free from the influence of liquor. Since that time, I have regained the love of my life and the respect of my community, and can truthfully say that the past few years have been the happiest of my life. I've busied myself a great deal during these few years in helping others who were afflicted as I was. And the combined efforts of the deacon, the pastor, and myself have resulted in 9 other men finding a way out of difficulties which were identical with mine. I feel this activity has played an important part in my mastery of this most devastating habit. Please join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom and the glory and the power forever and forever. Amen and amen. Thanks for joining.